Welcome to the Svalbard Devlog 1. This is a new project of mine. It's a payload map with only 3 capture points rather than the normal 4, and it's set on the Norse island of Svalbard. It's very much inspired by a few different maps like Snowy Coast, Upward, and I definitely got inspiration from Crash's Sub-Zero. Watching his dev blog of that map got me into mapping. And so I think it's kind of fun to take a bit of inspiration from that, and I think you can already see why. I'm going to take you through the first couple versions that I've had of Svalbard already, and then we'll get into the very first playtest, which I haven't seen yet. But this is what we'll call the pre-alpha one. This is before any official finished version. I already had this idea of starting inside a Arctic container ship. And I thought it'd be really funny if the blue mercs were started inside the cargo hold, so leaving the boat, you head out onto the docks. I think it's a pretty unique area and it feels very different from the rest of the map. I think that's one thing I've done with this, a focus with this map, is making each area feel significantly different from one another. So heading from the start docks, there's a few different routes to get into what I call town. Their town's based off, any sort of like Arctic or Antarctic little shanty research town, using these kind of like metal bunker walls and a lot of smokestacks and what have you. So when the cart reaches this gate, it opens very slowly and allows you to come push in, and this area is quite tight. I think it's not too cramped, but we'll see when it gets to real players. Red spawn behind the first cap in the earliest versions inside this white hut. This would later change, but we'll get to that. Moving from first, in these earliest versions, I didn't have a second or last in mind. It wasn't until the final A1 version, which you can see here, that I actually nailed down a second and a last. So you can see how this area kind of changed. I actually redesigned this area probably about 4 or 5 times, like designed a bit, deleted, designed a bit, and deleted, until eventually I had something I quite liked. As you can see, this building here is absolutely stolen from Upward. This is 100% just an Upward building. I love the idea of it. I think it's not too powerful for blue to push into, I don't think. I could be dead wrong once players start using it. We have a few different spots here that sentries could be placed, but I don't think second has a really strong sentry placement, and that's okay. I feel like this area is more about the whole team working together to hold down that ramp area, rather than just having one strong sentry while everyone else skirmishes around the corners. Once blue team cap the second point, it opens these giant doors, and then the cart moves down into the seed bank. Oh yeah, I'm going to play with the idea of like this is kind of like there's something secret or nefarious going on here, and Red are doing something sketchy. But the whole last area is very much designed like Upward last. It's got a very circular design in the last room, with a lot of high ground around it for both attackers and defenders to play around, as well as a little spiral staircase that leads to an under area. I think this is just a good way to do a payload last. I was just thinking through like what are my favorite payload lasts to play, and I think Upward is definitely one of them. Having this rocket acts as a point of interest, but also a sightline blocker. And then the last breaks convention. It makes you think, oh, there's a giant pit and there's a rocket. Every other payload map in the game that has a giant rocket and a pit, you push the cart to blow that up. But no. Instead, the cart track veers off and goes to the wall with this giant metal disc on it. It's actually a vault door. So the idea is that the blue team is actually here to blow up the seed vault rather than the giant rocket. And maybe if this map gets far enough, we can actually do some fun things with both of the rocket and the vault door as far as win conditions. But hey, I don't want to spoil anything. So that was Alpha 1. Alpha 1, I didn't get to playtest with real players other than my friend Benjamin. Shout out to Benjamin and bots. So this is one thing I've been doing lately with my maps, is even though bots are absolutely terrible for testing, you should never factor balance in with bots. Bots don't play the game anything like real players. Bots just focus purely on the objective. They never do things like spam out doorways or try and abuse spots or push too far forward. They don't do anything that a normal player would. All they do is run around towards the objective and just shoot whenever they see an enemy. They are very dumb, and they are not a good way to test, but when you're messing around with your friend, it's good to have bodies to shoot, just to feel how different areas feel, and that gave me some good ideas of what might work and what might be a problem come testing, which allowed me to make a few changes and a few different versions before its first actual playtest. Having this wall not visible through meant that anyone that used this route could easily walk around the corner straight into a level 3 sentry and just die, which isn't that fun. So I thought giving both defenders and attackers the ability to see through this wall would allow for a lot more smarter engagement. And then going into last, I felt that having this doorway leading into the high ground much more accessible to the attackers meant that they could easily just get above and then just start raining down rockets. And one of the first things I did was seal up this wall, and this was an idea from Ben, and put instead a staircase closer down to the cart track and within view of the defended areas, so that getting into this area was a lot harder. And then I opened up this wall so that defenders could choose to use this upper hallway to defend this lobby area. And this side route that used to have just a ramp, I replaced instead with a crate jump with a little bit of veggies growing on the wall. Crate jumps are a lot slower than ramps, and so using this route as an attacker, you're a lot slower. And once again, did plenty of testing with friends and bots, just mucking around and testing different things, testing different rocket jumps, whatnot, just seeing how the map plays. After Alpha 2, I had some strong feelings about the red forward spawn, so they really had no need for teleporters at all on first, because they literally walked out of the spawn door and they were at first. So one of the first things I did going into A3 was move red's forward spawn from this white building behind first to this flank building by B. I just simply pushed it back a little bit into the cliff behind it, and all of a sudden we have a new forward spawn that's a little bit further away and makes teleporters much more interesting. And I also put in this sentry window on the flank building and shifted the wall into the middle so that from the top of the ramp you couldn't see behind that wall, which means anybody using that flank building can actually stay out of the line of sight from this window if they choose and go behind the wall. But if they do happen to go in front of the window, they can easily snipe up, which I think hopefully will be used quite a lot. And then once again, going into last, more changes were made. This upper area here, I moved the open window from the right side to the left side, which actually has a lot less views. The crate jump was made a little bit more difficult in this flank, and I added a new staircase to the back of last. It's not too far from the other staircase, but it just keeps you in the action a bit more and makes attackers using this area slightly less likely to die because they wouldn't be walking past the enemy spawn door. But as you can see, I added quite a few little areas here that add a little bit of advantage for, say, sentries or medics or heavies, just so that the defense in that large area can be a bit stronger. And I'm feeling pretty confident, honestly, about how A3 is going to play. I'm really excited to jump into the playtest, so you know what, let's do it. Let's see how it plays. Okay, time for testing. This is honestly the hardest part of map making, because this is where you find out that you fucked up something majorly, and it's going to play like shit.
Yeah, this is the Winter Wonderland.
Oh, wow.
Bro,
this looks actually pretty decent.
yeah.
This sniper's not getting out alive. There's no way. Holy shit, he gets out alive. Or does he? He does. I think generally red will defend better the first time they play a game, simply because blue doesn't know the routes to attack yet. Holy shit, that sniper's going fucking crazy. This is playing really well, I think. What are you doing, Doodle Dom? Move your teleporter exit, mate. Get it up. Gotta move that gear up. Got him.
Well, if I didn't have Pip, I would have grabbed my stints there.
Oh, this spy's fucking crazy. He's nutty. Sniper window, they love it. They love it. Okay, we're actually going to see the last get played. That's feedback I appreciate right there. Alright, so I have made it too easy for red to push back into the lobby. Go, blue, go. Big push. Big put. No, look out for the spy. Yeah, this could be bad. You almost got it. You've almost got it. Oh my god, you've almost got it. Go. Get on the cart. Go, Blue, go. You can do it. Look out, Doom. No. Oh no. Oh, they did it. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. That was a great playtest. These hallways are seriously underscaled. This is something people really didn't like, which was the width of here. Alright, we opened it up. Why the windows are a one-way seems quite unfair. And you know what? I agree. Yeah, looks good to me. This sign blocks the sentry, makes it incredibly difficult to destroy. And it does. That was its purpose. It was intentional. But with real players, likely an issue. So we can move this up. And a sentry can see around there, but can also be outranged from here. 0.5. Gonna add a health kit. Just a little one. This sight line could be problematic. Now, this one I agree with. This is where we're going to get crazy with it. Okay, let's do... Boop, boop, boop. Boop. This area is pointless for both teams. You can probably get rid of it. I disagree. It's a good teleporter exit ledge. It's a pretty decent little sniper balcony or soldier balcony. Piss good. Thanks. This area is generally dark. Put some light in it, mate. I agree. It's a bit dark. A bit more light down there. Let's put a small health kit in. People are saying too many fences. Board those ones up. So people can sneak about a bit more. So we've made these windows see-through on both sides. Around here, we've opened up this staircase. So this is just this larger platform up here, rather than a little hallway that moves around. Red's respawn rate towards last is actually 1 second slower now, which doesn't sound like much, but trust me, it should help quite a bit. They were just a little too numerous. We blocked this up. This used to be open, and we've once again replaced it with windows. So now they can get around here and come up. We've replaced the crate jump with a ramp. Once again, back to the way it was in A1. Added a few blocked windows, just so there's slight less information gathered for people down here. Fixed a number of no-draw issues. Raised the signs that a sentry placed here isn't fully protected, but I still think this area over here is the best way to take out sentries. I think those few changes there will really help it, but I was really happy with how that first playtest played out. Just when I thought that we had nailed something down, we're back in the editor, and it's the way it goes. You know, you got to iterate these things. So, did a bit of a playtest with Ben and Harley.
Real John like, wow. You know, he's gone in the spot. He's actually in the spot! I was crawling in there as a joke.
And discovered that this point was brokey. Anytime you passed it, it didn't capture the point. And it would just make the cart right into the closed door over and over until the game ended. Cart's brokey. So that was broken. We fixed that and continued the play test, and we found that this corridor that people were talking about being a bit rough, it's very easy if you have sentries here for the team to very safely poke up here and essentially just lock down both these doorways.
Oh god. Kill streak.
So what I thought was if blue team had a way through this wall here to gain a little bit of high ground advantage, would really help them push into this area. So that's what I'm going to add. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So it enters here, and it's just a small little ramp and then a window here so you can see down into it. So Let's see how it looks in the game. Oh, yep. But in. And yeah, that's going to be a good angle. I like that. That's the beginning of Payload's Svalbard. If you like what you're seeing here, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see the next devlog or any other TF2 related videos that I make. Make sure you check out the map on tf2maps.net as well. It'll be in the description below. And hope you stick around to see where it goes. I'm excited about it. I hope you are too.